random music in my earlobes.
Oh, no, not today.
You're about to.
Not today.
That's not random. That's
I thought of it, but there's nothing. No inspiration.
inspirationist today. Hopefully this will inspire you to do something. Get cozy. Get cozy. The winter broadcast Olympics are hard. Too many clothes on. We're usually clothed up here. Got the socks on still.
So funny how it starts one way and ends another. No.
Once the wine hits, that'll warm you up some.
Well, cheers and welcome to From Behind the Barcast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, drinking in general. I'm Paxton. We have Clint, the Mayonnaise Marauder Moses, and Sunset Kelly on the ones and twos. Kelly walked in the bar last night. We were all sitting there, a bunch of podcast listeners. Kelly walks in and no count off. They all go, Sunset Kelly. And see his face right now? Same face.
Same face? Not a fan?
It's like the unwanted hug.
It's an audio hug.
Yeah. I just left.
He literally turned around and walked out like he did here.
If he had done like Dwight in the office, you get it out, you said, son?
It was like Agassi hitting the winner and then just turning around and the other player falls down.
He's like, damn it. He walks into the windrows. Son, it's like, God damn it, it's everywhere.
God.
Oh, man, if we could set it up every place he walked into on a certain night when we'll call him there and be like, hey, I need a ride from the Winterrose. My name's Jeff.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Speaking of breaking news on Tybee, coming at you on the spot, Mr. Clint Moses King.
We're here live. So Saturday night evening, the officers on Tybee stopped a vehicle for speeding and failure to maintain lane. While speaking with the driver, the officer noticed in plain view is a bag containing hallucinogenic mushrooms. Because you know what you do when you get pulled over? You don't put your mushrooms bag away.
I put them in the mushroom cup holder.
Yeah. So during a search of the vehicle, they also discovered weed, MDMA, and THC oil. Possession of controlled substance 3 different times, drug-related objects. But here's the thing: you're getting pulled over, right? And you're obviously you're not in good shape, right? Do you go, what should I put away? Was everything else already out and he put that away? And he was like, oh, they don't mind this.
Get to it quick
this
enough.
Bag of mushrooms. How big was this bag of mushrooms?
They're creminis. I'm making a chicken a la king.
You can't bust me if you don't know what you found.
Yeah.
But if it's sitting in a...
Maybe he was eating them all.
Shiitake.
What if I wonder if it was a non-Ziploc bag?
And the sandwich bag, too?
Yeah, because there's some plausible deniability if it's in like...
A Kroger bag?
Kroger bag? An Aldi bag?
He wasn't picking mushrooms on Tybee, that's for sure. But got popped for that, apparently, sir. Well,
he had mushrooms and MDMA. I don't even have a good plug for those things. Who was this guy?
You need his number?
Yeah, I'll be in court that day with that guy.
I know.
Oh, hey, come here, man.
Hey, cuz. I got some with me.
Yeah, right.
He brought it back to court with him.
Well, are you ever going to see? Well, we're never going to be able to see what he looks like unless we
I
do
know,
go to
because
court.
we're going to have a moment of silence for what was once a glorious Facebook page loved by all, many. RIP to the Chatham County Crime page on Facebook.
Amen.
So if you're not from Savannah, that was a page, or the surrounding area. There was a page on Facebook somebody made probably about a year ago or so, and he started posting people's mugshots about 3 to 5 days after the arrest.
It wasn't governmental. It was an
individual.
individual.
An individual. Was
I didn't
doing
realize
this.
that. It looked so
And
official.
at some point the name changed on it, and then at some point the name changed again because I guess he was getting some suits of law come at him because you can go down to there and request a mugshot, but now they just post pictures on the jail website. They used to have the pictures. They just post the names. They used to have the pictures back in the day. People get up every morning and scroll through, especially like St. Patrick's Day, Halloween. Yeah. You get some good shots.
Or if you know personally a person that you know got arrested,
you
can't wait to see that mugshot.
And so on their page, you'd be waiting. And then the nice thing about Facebook is the comment section opens up, and people are in there like trying to defend their girlfriend on there. Like, what are you doing, dude? You can't save a hoe in the comment section.
Alicia's a good mother.
And they're trying to defend the charges. Like, look, this isn't court. This isn't the Facebook court of law. You don't need to defend situations in here. But it's shut down. Is the end of an era. I don't know.
Or they'll go, he ate all the mushrooms.
Yeah.
You know?
Every now and then, when it was like a broad arrest with a lot of attention to it, he would later on post an update.
Yeah.
And it would have the police report in there, so you could read what actually happened versus just the peanut gallery.
I never followed up on any of them.
Yeah, it was nice. Well, you read a couple of them because I showed you one.
Well, I read the comment section.
Yeah, but the comment section is always a wild place. And so he was getting dragged. And one of the last ones I saw with a lot of comment, they were dragging the guy who does the site. Like, why are you going to kick people when they're down? And then someone doxed him on that. It was like, look up his name in lawsuits.
Oh, wow.
And that was like the third to last day of actual mugshots.
Oh, wow.
Now he's posting articles about arrests and stuff, like trying to scrape or something.
Well,
he had a subscription service where you could subscribe. So you could only look at, you had 3 clicks of charges, and after that you couldn't see the charges, just the mugshot. And so people would pay, I guess, for some stupid reason instead of just opening it in a new browser or deleting cookies. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so that was a way, I guess, to make money off of this, and I think that's probably where he went wrong. Was once it became profitable, charging a direct subscription service, you're now capitalizing on people's failures.
You should have just had a Patreon, because I think you can put anything behind Patreon. Like you can post yourself watching an entire movie and like reacting to it.
As long as it's on Patreon.
As long as it's on Patreon. As long as it's on. Because,
yeah, I think the Are We Drunk guys do that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of crime, have you ever had a prison pen pal?
Not yet, but I mean, after what Tom Segura's been doing, I kind of want one now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that sort of sparked it. But what really sparked it for me was, and I'll let you guys do your own research on this if you want to look it up. There's a young lady named Gypsy Rose Blanchard, right? And she did some things, but her mother was a demon, like whatever. So she gets arrested and goes to jail, and she makes her first court appearance, and she looks real good in that court appearance. Right. So I was like, if I ever had a pen pal, I would write to her while she's in prison, be like, baby, I believe in you. What you did wasn't exactly wrong. When you come out, holler at me. She's in like Missouri or something like that.
And any luck yet?
No, I haven't. I think she's getting out in like less than a year now. So
I'm looking at this court appearance, and Paxton, your standards are not doing good.
I like weird shit.
I mean, her nose is as big as mine, so that's the thing you're into.
Beautiful disaster is, I'm all about it.
Yeah, we've seen your friends.
Yeah.
Woo, Kelly, yeah, you're right. You do like a beautiful disaster. Or just a 6 disaster.
I will pick you up from prison.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, I'll
your cab servitude knows no bounds.
And also in other news, in crime news,
yes.
Friday, I had a gig, shout out Finn's Corner down here on Tybee. My buddy John, I was filling in as a drummer for a band called Little Gracie. One of the gentlemen in the band pulled up, and I noticed his Kia Soul was a little bit, janky and disrepair a little bit. I was like, what happened? He goes, oh, you ever heard of, on TikTok, they're called the Kia Boys? Anybody familiar with this? Travis, who's not here? No?
No.
Yep.
So apparently what the Kia Boys do is they find Kias made past 2018, 2019.
There was a range of Kias made, yeah,
right,
that they could get into.
Right. I don't know what. So they throw a brick through the window or whatever. They break in. They break the glass. They take a USB drive, stick it in the computer, and steal it. Apparently
there was a way to hack into this certain. It was Kias and maybe one other car, like Hyundais.
Maybe Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Yeah, Hyundai. So both Korean. What does that tell you? Nothing really. So they broke in, they locked his car up because I guess he didn't have the software update for the little USB stick. So he goes, and then WSAV came to interview me because in his 10-block radius of where he lives downtown, the Kia Boys had a nice run of literally bricking the window and then bricking the cars. Because I'm not sure they got to steal many.
These weren't the OG Kia Boys. These were like the South. The Kia Boys were in like Milwaukee.
Okay,
so this is the Savannah branch, and they didn't get the right software update. So they weren't going anywhere in these cars. They were just locking them up.
Yeah. Literally just bricking the car like you would brick a computer.
So no car, no drive. Because you remember watching a couple of videos, and they were basically just getting in people's Kias and like just driving them like they stole it literally, and just smashing into stuff, fishtailing into the yards. And I guess in Milwaukee, once you hit a certain speed or a certain distance in a police chase, the cops stop chasing you because of the danger to society to continue to pursue you.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because they figure like if they're chasing you, you're going to keep going, and you can hurt the advantages of catching you out. Are outweighed by the damage you're going to cause in that pursuit.
And if you're crossing,
not Georgia State Patrol.
Yeah, they don't care. And if you're crossing jurisdictions, but see, Georgia State Patrol they can go all over the state.
But so the Kia boys were just taking cars and just smashing them
They were
all
just
up.
smashing them up, and
And
then,
they're like, they're in their teens. They weren't. There was like
they
13
had literal
to 16.
Kia boys.
Yeah, and they were nuisances.
So
all
here's
over
the thing. So just like in life, tech has to catch up with humanity. Humanity has to catch up with tech. Insurance companies have to catch up
with the Kia boys.
because the victim's car, only certain parts of the repairs were covered by his insurance.
That's terrible.
So the computer stuff he had to come out of pocket for.
And he was still driving a Kia.
Yeah, right. And I was like, "Where are you in downtown?" He goes, Park Street." I was like, "Makes sense." If anyone's familiar with
Yeah, that's the Kia Street.
with Savannah.
The Hyundais are more on a different block, I suppose. So what we're drinking this evening is going to be a 2021 Baberte Lange Nebbiolo.
He always
I actually used to work in a cafe. I used to work at the Riverlea Cafe in Tottenham. And
thank you, Adele.
That worked just fine.
That was perfect, Adele. Thank you for joining us here. So if you're not familiar with Nebbiolo, it's the grape of Barolo and Barbaresco up in the northeast part of Italy.
And the top fingers?
In the Piedmont region.
Yeah,
But
we
so
all knew that.
Barolo and Barbaresco are two of the most well-known grapes up there. This, what do you think on this? It's kind of like
Pretty dry.
it's dry. It's like it's a little bit more tannic than a Pinot Noir, but it still is light and has that cherry and like easy finish, a little higher alcohol.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I couldn't agree
my
more.
words. But great, it's a good wine. It's it's not.
It's actually I really like it. I like a dry red.
Yeah, and it's not an overly dry red. It's kind of like a Sangiovese, pretty much.
Yeah. It's not a Malbec mudslide, which is something I heard Eric Culberson say last night about a bowel movement.
Is it the Argentinian diarrhea? A Malbec mudslide?
He popped off like 9 of them, but the Malbec mudslide.
That wasn't even quote of the week. Was the Malbec mudslide?
That should have been my quote of the week. I have a better
Well,
one.
you know what this would pair very well with, though?
Something from Thanksgiving?
A smoked whole duck, maybe. Shout out to all my ducking people that patronize Clint's Duck Mart. Thank you so much. Shout out
I
to
ran into one last night.
yeah, shout, Josh Miller, Glory,
Caitlin from Bubba Gumbos made a cassoulet.
Made cassoulet with it. Her brother Patrick. More on him in a minute. Got 2 ducks as well. It was quite. I mean, I had it made for quite a nice Thanksgiving with all the duck picker-uppers. Vince and Kate got one.
Yeah.
My buddy Tomas, who gets a ton of them.
And anyone who got them that I talked to were pretty smart, and they were like, we made dark port like sauces for the duck. Because
Yeah.
with the duck, you need to make the darkest, velvetiest, reddest sauce to
And you want something with the acid like this to cut through the fat of the duck.
accompany with it.
Because
you know what I
it's a
mean?
fattier bird.
Oh, yeah.
But thank God
Yeah,
I
of
did
course
I did 5 of them on Tuesday, so I didn't have to do all 20 of them on Thursday. So I got 5.
How many did you do overall?
20.
20.
20 and a turkey breast.
You got a whole flock, brother.
Yeah, they did. They nested well, kind of. Just short and sweet. Get them all on there. Thursday morning early. My boy Poe came to help me. He didn't plan on drinking so much the night before because he was rough that first batch. And I'm like, look, it's 6:30 comes early. Get them on the smoker. It's cold outside Thanksgiving morning, and I'm watching. All right, once I've got them settled, got the next batch ready. It's nap time, baby. Just lay in bed, look at that app, make sure that smoker's at 225. It is not. It's at 195. And I'm like, okay. Now, when you put 7 cold birds on there at one time, it tends to maybe slow things down.
Going to knock the temperature down a little bit.
Yeah. So I just stayed there. Instead of napping for an hour, I just looked at the app every few minutes and would turn the temperature up. We never got to 225. I was able to just drag out time a little bit. Everybody's ducks were fine. I pulled off the 3rd duck. So everybody out there come pick their duck out. Close the lid. I go back inside for 2 minutes, come outside, that thing's at temperature already. I'm like, oh, it was just used in like those 3 ducks. So then the next round, it ran fine all day, and poof, all the ducks were gone. And shout out to boy V, he came and got his duck on Friday, but everybody else got ducked up.
Yeah, everyone that I talked to that got duck, very pleased with it, and especially the only thing is like it's good right as it is, but then you try and start utilizing it for other things. Like Caitlin said, she was going to try and maybe do like sandwiches or something, but a duck doesn't have a whole lot of
There's not a lot of
flesh on there.
I mean, there's
you know?
only they're 6 to 7 pound ducks. So with bones and skin and things, parts of the duck you don't eat, you're only getting about 3 pounds of meat, maybe.
Yeah.
If you do it right. And cutting it up is not like cutting up a chicken. There's so much fat. I mean, that fat layer is thick.
And you're supplying a nice change up of pace for people who are
Yeah.
used to having.
Because basically, what I do, I text everybody about a week out. Hey, here's what's going on. And then the day before, just in case someone wants to bail, I'll eat that duck or whatever. And shout out to Glory who said, "Oh no, I wanted this duck for Christmas."
Oh God.
And I said, oh, my bad. That's cool. I'll eat it. She goes, no, that's my duck now.
Done
And
that.
so she still came and got it.
Okay, so I have to ask this.
Oh, and Caitlin Webcam got one too. I don't want to miss anybody on the duck pickup.
My phone, I can't say fucking on it, text-wise. It goes to ducking.
Yep. We made that 10 minutes. Good.
Okay, good. Had you gotten to a point on your phone where it would let you type fuck?
So what happened is throughout the year, I had to break it from saying duck back to saying fuck. And so it takes me until about July, September in there, and I get it back to saying saying fuck, and then right back on that escalator, try to type duck. So and then the thing is, the ucking adds another element to it. So I don't say ducking very much, but then I'm not trying to throw it out there to be funny or whatever. And I broke it. It's back. The duck is back on the escalator.
Duck fuck riot.
Duck back's right where it's supposed to be. But shout out, the biggest of the shout outs, I think it's going to go to Pat Burns.
No, he loves it.
Loves the duck. Loves the duck.
Loves getting shout out for positive or negative reasons.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
But he bought 2 ducks, and he texted me and said, "Hey, if the pair of ducks, as you do, he said, if the breakfast place is open, do you want a biscuit or a sandwich?" And I said, "Sure." And I'm not a huge breakfast sandwich person, but it's been delivered. I'm doing a lot of shit right now. I don't have to worry about breakfast. He goes, sausage or bacon? I'm like, sausage. So he shows up with this sandwich. And I'm like, and a piece of cornbread. And I'm like, where did you buy this from? He goes, oh, they were closed, so I made it for you. Oh. Well, I mean, I was like, you could have just not brought a sandwich. He's like, well, I said it was going to do it, so I made you a sandwich. I'm like, thank you. And I ate that whole sandwich.
Did he dress it properly?
Oh, yes. You know what he dressed it with?
I wonder.
Mayonnaise.
He pre-mayoed it?
With Duke's mayonnaise. Because somebody tried to challenge the king. Somebody stepped in to my gooey mayo life. And
I was going to ask, did you know it was Duke's?
So,
did you know I was the mayonnaise marauder?
Charlotte, what the heck are you thinking? My sister comes into my house on Saturday with deviled eggs. She goes, some of these deviled eggs are made with half the olive oil mayonnaise, and some are made with Duke's. Can you guys figure out which one? And I look at her and I'm like, what are you doing? I look at him. I know already. I can tell it just by the look. But I wait, everybody else try one, and everybody looks, and I take a bite, go, that's Duke's, that's not. And she goes, you're right. I'm like, I know. You can tell by the texture of it, though.
That's a really wide polarity, though. If she did Duke's
and Hellman's.
Duke's next to Blue Plate or something, Duke's next to
Hellman's.
Kraft, that's a little bit closer. The olive oil one or the avocado oil.
I don't think she set out to do this. I think she
it was just
started making it
natural.
and was like, oh, I only have this much Duke's, so then I'll just use this. And we'll make it a little challenge.
What a Moses King problem. They're
And
like,
she put paprika on some, and not on the others, kind of like mix it up a little bit. But don't step to the king. I know which mayonnaise is which. Come on, son.
I'm the mayonnaise king of the Marauders. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I didn't, but it was,
You know what? That's one thing I didn't have at all this Thanksgiving was
mayonnaise?
No, well, yeah.
Travesty.
Deviled eggs.
So here's the thing. We had this discussion. Are deviled eggs a Thanksgiving thing? Or are they not a Thanksgiving thing?
Deviled eggs are an event thing. No matter what the event is. A funeral, a Thanksgiving, a party, orgy, obviously. That's the first thing you bring. Yeah. Orgy, you want to wash up first. Funeral, wedding. It's in the South. It's the universal horse derv.
Yeah, it's out there. And so we decided we didn't really have deviled eggs every year at Thanksgiving. It wasn't a thing, but I was like, bring some. I didn't get any, and I just was craving some. And it worked. It satisfies the craving, but it's not one of those things where it's a typical Thanksgiving dish, but it's an event dish.
It's an event dish.
Because on Thursday I was about an hour late to Huckapoo's for Thanksgiving, which was like an hour and a half before you got there.
Yeah.
So I didn't get any deviled eggs. I didn't get anything that was really that warm.
Right.
Because I was because people sat down, I guess, right at about 2, and I thought usually there was like a long.
Normally,
beginning a long thing, and I got there at like 3:30, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
How was the turnout?
I don't know. I was told
it was very, very. I thought when I got there it was half as much as it was. It was still pretty busy.
I got a worm in my ass, and I was like, I haven't been to my mother's grave since 2001 when she died. So I was like, I'm going to go to Bonaventure Cemetery today. Half of it was kind of selfish to be like, all right, I don't want to be around a lot of people. This allows me to kind of be late to the thing. So I get to Bonaventure, which I haven't been to in 22 years, I guess. Didn't realize that it's about 40 square miles. So I pull up and park. I walk. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to walk around, let the spirits guide me, man. I walked for about 2 hours and probably got through a quarter of the place. So then I went back up to the office, and they have a touchscreen thing up there, like find the grave. Wasn't working. I was like, okay, I don't feel shit out here. No, there's no spirits driving me anywhere. So I Google my mom's headstone, and it's literally the closest picture of a headstone you've ever seen. No context clues.
So you couldn't find a nearby a marker or anything?
Nothing. And it didn't have the plot marker on there. I was like, well, I seen it. I mean, what else am I going to do? So then when I got back out to Tybee, by the time I got to Pooh's, it had kind of cleared out a little bit, and the food was kind of put up. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start drinking. Not from sadness. I was like, I just want to party now.
We had a good time. Was it crazy crowded? We watched the Cowboys game. Paxton remarked more than once. He's like, "You're sitting down." I was like, "We're beating the living shit out of them. I don't need to."
But you were sitting. That's just a very strange thing.
I'd also been on my feet all day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were ducking around.
And we were doing duck prep till 1 a.m. Wednesday night.
When I looked at him, I was like, "What a paradox." Him sitting.
It quite was a Poe paradox.
The other Thanksgiving note I have is so we had an episode with our English buddy from Nottingham, England, Billy, and so much feedback from that. You know, especially about him
Not
knowing
a big Thanksgiving in England.
Yeah, not big Thanksgiving in England. So this last episode, I've had more people walk up to me and go, "Had the drunk uncle the other day, had the meth nephew the other day." Every style of person that we named off in our what we did was we expected
it's the Matthew, but yeah.
We expected the Matthew, yes. We expected to have a guest last week, and so we did a top 4 because the guest that we were supposed to have last week, he does a top 4 all the time, you know. So we did our top 4 Thanksgiving, you know, derelicts,
or just the typical things that the thing. It ended up most of them weren't. Like the grandfather wasn't really a derelict. He was just
no, just like the less positive participants.
Yeah. So now we'll do the top 4 people that are really positive there without him on the podcast.
My top favorite things in the world at Thanksgiving.
We actually will have, unless he leaves, we will have Travis. You didn't make it last week on the podcast on the second half, and we'll discuss fun things he did and didn't miss. And it could be he drove himself just in case he had to bail, and I figure we'll just have a large, long second half.
Large, long second half, all
and
right.
And that'll kind of fill in where you know.
We'll fill in the gaps.
Loaded.
We'll gap in the fills.
Loaded like an olive oil mayonnaised deviled egg.
Helps it slide right out.
All right. Hey guys, Paxton here. I hope you're enjoying the show, and if you are, there's a few simple things that you can do that will really help us out. Number 1, whether you listen on Spotify, Apple, Google, or wherever, you can drop us a rating and a review if you haven't already. Positive or negative, we'd love to hear from you. And the more ratings and reviews that we receive, the more we'll be put in front of new audiences. Also, if you listen on Spotify, you can easily share episodes to your Instagram stories. If you watch us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You might not be. And finally, why not shoot us an email with any service industry or just general stories that you'd like us to share? We always love hearing from you, and we love using your stuff. The email is FromBehindTheBarcast@gmail.com. Can't wait to hear from you, and enjoy the second half of the show. And welcome back to From Behind the Barcast. Last night was a Sunday. I went up to attempt to work, but it was sleeting. There was yucky rain everywhere. It was cold. No one was outside. So I walked inside, and I sat down next to Mayor-elect Mr. Brian West. We get to chatting for a second. He goes, "Hey, did you have Travis on your podcast last week? I saw it was called the Hot Grits Thanksgiving." I said, "Actually, no.
No, we did not.
But this week we do." Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Travis Jaudon.
Talking for himself.
I don't think anybody else was.
Well, we're glad to have you this week because a lot of stuff happening.
Lots of stuff happening.
Lots going on. Lots going on.
And the most important thing you may have missed last week was an appearance by roommate Trav. Right as we're getting done, I was like, perfect. Didn't show up. Here he is. You've been wanting to meet him? This couldn't happen.
The lore continues.
Wait a second. So I watched the episode last week. First off, let me just apologize to the millions of fans of From Behind the Barcast. I would have done the same thing if I was you two. I would have done the same thing. I had some, I'll describe it as phone/toilet issues.
I have a lot of phone toilet problems.
And then the same issue happened again like 5 seconds later, which created just moistness within my phone.
Sure.
Sure,
yeah.
as one does. And then that happens like Monday mid-afternoon, and I don't think about From Behind the Barcast again until Wednesday, when I get a phone back and Clint, serves me up
How many messages did you?
a lot.
Never rude. Just like, hey, okay.
No,
well,
genuine worry for
Oh, you
sure.
are.
None of selfish motives.
I was concerned. I even went as far as to message you on Twitter.
And then I went, yeah, and that's how some people knew that I didn't have a phone, was that I hadn't tweeted in 3 days. But so then I go, and obviously I have to listen to the episode from last week, and I'm just yelling alone at almost everything, like, damn it.
We cut to you a few times too. I was like, yeah, Travis, what do you? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I know. That was a good bit. There were so many good bits. But I didn't, I think I cut it off like with like 5, maybe less than 5 minutes.
Oh, good. Yeah,
to go. But
that's where we
are
really.
you telling me that roommate Trav?
No, he wasn't on the podcast. But
Okay.
He was here right when we got done. Like I hadn't even left yet.
I mean, we probably clicked off like 5 minutes before he walked in the door, and I was like, if he would have been here, I would have beckoned him up and had him sit down and talk about sports.
Yeah, it was the most heartbreaking thing to learn that he was here too. Like,
Because if you know the lore of From Behind the Barcast, Travis J has been waiting to meet roommate Travis for the entirety
I just
of
think roommate Trav deserves a fair shake. That's all.
I thought it was roommate Travis downstairs for that long interview the last time he was on. I'm like, what the hell is Travis?
That makes sense
job
with roommate
interview
Trav.
ever.
That interview just now ended.
He
too.
is a long interviewer. He's done many a long interview.
So
I don't believe that Brian West said that, by the way.
No, he did,
I
yeah.
believe that that's your end.
No, I swear, man, I couldn't make something like that up.
He can't lie about the mayor.
Even the mayor said it.
Even the. I mean, it was probably like the second thing he goes, "Hey, how you doing? Good. All right. So I saw the episode was called The Hot Grits. Did you listen? No,
That's
well, he
how
wasn't on
if you
there.
listen, you would have heard how much he
Yeah,
wasn't on
and
there.
the title. Like you blasted me in the
I was
title.
like, how's it? We got to do this. We had to. That was. I'll take that call. That was mine.
We normally have a discussion at the end of the episode, like, "Hey, what are we going to name it?" And we were like, "Oh, Thanksgiving." And then Clint just, like a lark. Hot Grits Thanksgiving.
Done. That's it.
Done. See you guys later.
When it came on YouTube, I saw the title and I was like, did I miss something?
Was that hallucinating?
No, you
did
saw
I
it all.
get X'd out already? Something? What's going on here? And then I realized, oh, that's right. He wasn't there.
Yeah, that's right. He was not
And with
here.
Kelly Claus, which was something we
Kelly
made up on the
Claus.
break, not on the podcast. Perfect.
I am here now, though.
So since you are here, we're going to dive into a little bit of sports talk, and I'm going to open this segment.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, no worries. Very important stuff. Last Saturday, Kelly and I had a gig where we went to cover and film the Main Street Tybee Cornhole Tournament.
The second annual.
Second annual. We covered it last year as well, so we're shooting some B-roll, getting some stuff. And so they had 24 teams. It was a cash prize. 2 gentlemen from Kentucky show up. And they're like, "Oh, we're so unprepared." And they start pulling bags out of their sleeves and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They set up next to the boards, and just by their posture
You knew.
and their arm swing gait, I was like, "Oh, these guys are on the Chitlin Cornhole circuit,
Yep.
going around to tiny little towns,
And raking up the hundreds. of dollars.
raking in that $874. You know what I mean?" So as it's continuing on, I'm listening to them talk. When they're talking to each other and the other cornholers, they're like, "Man, if he puts that 80-degree swing from left to right, he can pile them up." Like jargon,
Cornhole jargon.
cornhole jargon I've never understood. So
Like,
I'm hearing
good bag.
So you're
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
these guys
right.
are single?
Good bag. Good bag.
good bag, fist bump.
GB.
So I'm hearing them speak so, eloquently about their sport.
Kentucky and eloquently. 2 words not often attached to each other.
So I go up to them and we're doing on-site interviews. So they won all of their. It was a double elimination. So they won all of their matches. So they have a long time to wait for the losers bracket to get done.
Right.
So that they can. So I go over to these seemingly eloquent Kentucky gentlemen. I say, "Hey boys, real quick interview. Let me know what do you think is it a bad thing for you to be cold and not be able to be warm because you're waiting, so long between this last game and this game?" And they go, "Yeah."
Oh, no, that's the worst.
Real good interview, huh?
I go, "So you feeling pretty good or pretty bad about it?" Good.
You know what I sometimes do in situations like that? Because high school athletes they're not great with it, and they'll give you like 1 or 2 word answers, or they'll give you like, "Just glad my teammates and I were able to be something." So sometimes I will just do, and I don't know if this is unethical or not. Perhaps it is, but I will say stuff like, there was talk coming into the game about and then I'll just make up a storyline like
Oh, you're like a sideline reporter.
anti a lot like Carissa Thompson.
Yeah.
So, but like, and then that will get them going. Like, well, but with cornhole, I don't even know what you're gonna.
Yeah.
They came with their own bags and dropped them out.
Is this reminiscent of Magnus von Magnuson, the former cornholder?
I was well,
The
and
one-handed cornholer?
out there.
I've never covered cornhole.
Where it was? Well, neither. I mean, I still didn't. The wind was really bad. Like even these bags weigh a pretty good
Really
amount.
Still blowing?
Yeah.
And they were flying away like ducks.
You know, somewhere there's some guy who's pretty good at cornhole who calls himself the Great Cornholio.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I was like, these Kentucky gentlemen. Yeah. Thanks for the one word.
Did they win the Cornholio tournament?
They most certainly did.
Damn. Who'd
Yeah.
they beat? Was anybody we know?
Yeah, it was. Well, so unfortunately, last
Did the champs get to play?
Yeah, the champs got to play 2 games, which they lost right away.
Damn.
Hate to hear that.
Bobo,
Yeah.
he couldn't adjust to the wind.
Oh, yeah, the win will get you.
The wind's gonna get you. But so they get knocked out pretty early. Bobo takes his belt from last year, throws it over his shoulder, and begins to walk around. I was like, Bobo, look, I know you're hanging on for dear life emotionally.
Yeah, but that
You can't sling that thing over your shoulder and walk around right now because
you're
you're not
gonna
the
lose that.
champ.
This was after his
After
team
he
was.
after he was eliminated.
Oh, no.
He had his belt from last year. There's a new belt for this year.
okay. A belt a year, gotcha.
But he's walking around with it.
No, that's not
I was
it.
like, man, but he's an autistic adult. Like, what can you say? You know?
yeah,
He's an autistic adult.
He's an autist.
yeah.
Yeah.
He should. That's what we call burying the lead.
Oh, sorry. Everybody else listening pretty much knows. All of our local listeners are like, duh.
I was gonna start dogging him.
Well, see, the thing was, you're
I'm
not.
glad we told you.
We're
Yeah.
not. You're not supposed to keep the belt anyways. But last year they were like, "Well, what were we going to say to Bobo? Like, give us the belt.
Give us the belt because you weren't going to get back. As soon as he said he lost that belt, when him would have been gone. And Mike would have been over the bridge.
Yeah.
Are you telling me they came down from Kentucky specifically for
I
this?
think they're on a side. Well, they obviously
Cornhole
weren't great at answering questions from
Clearly.
me. So,
Yeah.
so that
They're not
was
used to the media blitz at cornhole tournaments.
If I'd have pulled the Travis J, I could have been like, so I've heard that you guys just tore around the Chitlin Cornhole circuit raking up pots. Is that what you're doing to us down here on our tiny little island for charity, huh?
Some might be saying you guys couldn't cut it in Kentucky, so you had to come down. Come down here.
You need a professional there. God, if you've only been here last week.
Yeah, you're gonna be on
Damn it.
on field.
He might have been busy
next
covering
year.
football on Saturday, but you never know.
Well, so and during the cornhole matches, it'll be like, James versus John, 12-7. Also, Ohio State 7, Michigan 14.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
we're
it's
getting-
this past Saturday.
Yeah. So it was during the Ohio State Michigan.
What a
game. So
day of college football that was. Yeah.
It was. I mean, let's just start.
Yeah.
Can still hold the belt over their shoulder.
rightfully.
Both of the last 2 belts, if you will. Hard to hold 3 trophies, though. We'll find out soon enough. Hey, look, it wasn't a pretty day for a lot of teams. It's a rivalry game. Georgia rested, for those of you that were in panic mode, rested 7 starters, 5 of which were like the best on their team. In fact, the 5 of their 7 best players didn't even play. So it didn't look as good as people want. It's a rivalry game. Tech gives it its all. It's all they got left. Those stupid nerds just have one good game left
Just
in
a
them.
bunch of.
They've got a job in the Department of Transportation waiting on them,
You know what
brother.
they didn't have was help with the technology of the camera, the field view camera, the above camera. They show up close to the coaches, the players. Beautiful 4K. Goes to the field view. I don't know. What's half of 1K? Half a K? I don't know. It was nothing. It was terrible. It looked like a damn iPhone 1 was filming the game. And then to go back to the field, I don't know if it was the ABC broadcast or the ACC cameras or just.
I thought it was. So there's certain channels that play college football, like the CW.
Yeah.
And it's always grainy and shitty.
This
but-
was ABC, who usually films Notre Dame games, which is on Pac-12 instead of the ABC. Maybe they were mad about that, but the camera view, I was like, is something wrong with my fucking TV?
Several things about that broadcast were weird.
Yes.
The sideline reporter, by the way, like right before the game start. Did you know like Brock Bowers wasn't gonna? I didn't know that.
Twitter got me with that one, but yeah.
How early though?
Half an hour, maybe.
Okay, so-
I saw that Delp and the Super Inside Baseball here. I saw that Delp and Lucky were doing first team reps,
Right.
So I knew he wasn't going to play then.
So
He
okay,
was feeling more sore than he had since the surgery.
so they sit, which we thought might be a possibility. They sit this 6 or 7 guys that are players, and the sideline reporter says that and says what Kirby Smart told her, and it sounded like, damn, he thinks that Georgia's already won this game. I was like weirded out by that a little bit, and then the start was a little rough, but yeah, dude, they own Atlanta. They really do. And then
Georgia Tech hasn't won at home against Georgia since 1999.
and Jasper Sanks was down on that play, so that should have never happened.
Exactly.
Because and before that it was 1989.
Yeah, they're not doing. We own Atlanta. I guess that's the way they had our band sitting in the 600 section. Our band was literally up top corner, like the shit seats. I'm like, you know what we're gonna do to your band next year, you jackasses?
Oh, wow.
That tells me they count by 300s because there's no way that little stadium has 600 sections. That was another thing. And then what about the Aflac trivia question during the game? Did you see
No,
that?
I didn't see that. I was a miss of oyster
They
roast.
talk about it forever. How 1999, last time Georgia won in Atlanta, and then at the end of the first quarter, they pop up the little duck pops up Aflac,
Yeah.
and
That's the question.
it's when was the last time Georgia won at Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta? And Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy are on the call, and they're like, "Well, we obviously weren't aware of the Aflac trivia."
Yeah, they didn't know the question ahead of
So
time.
good.
We've been just talking about the answer to this question.
They should have been like, change it last minute. Ask if you think OJ was guilty or not guilty.
yeah.
Aflac question of the week. Did OJ do it?
And then
Aflac.
the Georgia Tech coach, when they kicked the field goal, she just point blank asked him, "Why didn't you go for it on fourth down?" He's like, "Not part of the plan." All right,
Okay, dude, he's from
Nice
Kentucky.
answer.
But
Now, all day Saturday, though, I had people that don't really watch football being like, this is the most exciting Saturday.
I mean, yeah, but
so many
started
close
off Michigan,
games.
Ohio State, very close game. Look, watching that game though, I was like, we will smoke these boys.
You
Either
really
one
think
of them. Yeah, they're Michigan's out there having no luck in the cornerback in their defensive backfield. Ohio State's throwing bombs to the corners. I'm like, this is where we're going to destroy you.
Yeah, I don't like.
I don't
think
think we're
Ohio
going to.
State wouldn't be a problem just because of the quarterback. Like they just don't. They're not what they were last year. Michigan scares me, especially with this whole harp. Like they got some. They got
Kirby
some
will change their
mojo
signs by
about
then.
them, bro. But they got some mojo about them. They got like a reason to play now. I guess if you're into that kind of thing. But
Well, the Alabama Auburn game was close.
Look,
you're glad Alabama won, right?
Yeah.
Well, we
I
talked
don't
about.
care about I don't care about Alabama. People are like, oh, we'd rather have Auburn. They're underdog or whatever. And I was like, Georgia's on such a tear. I don't think I care.
We don't care. We want Alabama to win because in the off chance they beat us,
Right.
We're still in playoff.
maybe there's a whole lot of shit.
Oh, dude, I don't
This is
know.
the nightmare scenario for the playoff committee: is Texas wins, Oregon beats Washington in a close game, which is avenging their loss, but then they got those two close.
Right.
Then you've got Michigan wins, it should win, and then you've got Florida State wins. That beats Louisville. So then you've got Florida State without their starting quarterback, undefeated. Probably got to put them in there. Oregon did beat Washington. Washington already beat Oregon. Texas beat Alabama. Bama beat Georgia. So how do you put Bama in? That's going to be. It's not. That won't work. That won't be.
It's too bad Condoleezza Rice still isn't on the committee.
It's going to be a nightmare for them to figure out the fourth. The thing is, if you put in Florida State, they're going to get rolled by anybody.
Yeah.
They're just not good enough. Unfortunately, they're hurt. They're banged up. Schumacher's not bad as a backup quarterback, but it's not going to be pretty for them if they got to play Michigan, Oregon, Washington, Georgia. Bama might be maybe a closer game with them, but Texas, I don't know enough to. I've watched enough Texas.
It's a long time since I felt no fear about certain teams, and now it's like after we've gotten over the hump of when we're undefeated and we play Florida typically, that's always a sketchy game.
Yeah, Bama did not look great. I mean, they got lucky.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
there's
mobile
three kinds of luck
quarterback
in
thing. Not that Morroy is like Mike Vick, but the mobile quarterback always.
That's what's been Georgia's
and I
problem all year.
don't know that Georgia has shown yet that.
We figured it out versus the first mobile quarterback team, whoever the I can't
Auburn
remember
took
who
us
it
till the
was.
fourth quarter to figure out Auburn's quarterback there.
Yeah,
Right.
He
Yeah,
gouged us more
that
rushing yards
wasn't
than anybody's
like,
had all year against us.
And that wasn't like a crazy complicated scheme they were running.
No, but it was just having a mobile quarterback.
Right.
Literally,
It's given us fits all year. It's going to give us some against Bama. However, he's going to get lit up a couple of times. The thing is, this week, people are like, the Tech court ran all over us. Two true freshman linebackers in the game is not that he run up the middle. Those guys are. This is the first game each one of them started. They've been a couple of them have been playing, but easy guys.
And that quarter, Haynes King for Georgia Tech is a former he's a 5-star.
Yeah, he's a 5-star, and he's 23 years old. He's been playing for a while.
And
Haynes
did
is a
you
good
hear
person.
he was a coach's son?
And King is a good last name.
Did you hear he was a coach's son? They said that 30 times on the broadcast.
Affleck trivia question: what did Haynes' dad do?
So sick of this.
He was on our
coach's
team last
son
year,
thing,
too.
dude.
Well,
Okay, which was?
our eventual meeting with Alabama in the SEC championship
On Saturday.
sparked my.
It's the quote of the week.
Tell them Alabama boys stop sleeping with their sisters in the trailer parks. Here come the Georgia boys. And I heard them say this, and I go,
Boom.
"We are in Georgia, sir.
Yeah.
We are also in the South. there's just as many sister fuckers here in Georgia living in trailers.
Yeah.
I love when southern states.
Most recent census.
I love when southern states
Not so
point to
census.
another southern state and go, they're the rednecks.
Especially when it's Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky, Arkansas.
It's
like,
all the South, baby.
I mean, Arkansas is terrible. I mean, guys. I mean, at least Atlanta is more affluent than, and Savannah is more affluent than any city in all those other states. But still, it's not.
There is a difference. Yeah.
I mean, there's a small difference, but pot kettle, baby. Come on. You know?
Wait, where does that quote come from?
It was some coach that was there at the bar, you know, because whenever I watch football at Huckapoo's on Saturdays, at least 7 ex-D1 coaches or coaches that just couldn't make it to the D1 level, telling me what Bobo should and shouldn't have done or what the players
And how
in
do you
the
know they're
field-
coaches? Let me guess, they told you.
But because of how smart they are and their
Yeah.
football acumen, I can just tell.
After the Auburn, Alabama touchdown.
Well, see,
Why they only rush 2?
here's the hard-hitting shit that those coaches say. They go, they ran it on first down and only got 4 yards. What are we doing, Mike Bobo?
Yeah, those are the guys. Oh man, they're like Mike Bobo's finalist for the assistant coordinator of the year. You know, they're like not good enough.
Someone
Mike Bobo's a stud, man. All he has ever done at Georgia is put up points.
Yeah, and people are like, well, we need 45, not 42.
Now, if you want to talk about how bad he was at quarterback, that's fair.
yeah,
But
well,
offensive coordinator.
Speaking with Mayor-elect Brian West last night, no big deal. He goes, I don't know much about Georgia, but I know I'm supposed to hate Mike Bobo. I was like, okay.
That is all of a theme.
Yeah, welcome. You're in.
Maybe these Mike Bobo haters should learn what DK Metcalf learned, which is sign language, so he could talk shit to the opposing team's players when he scores on them, because you can't. Yes. So, Paxton, I don't know
That's
ASL.
uncalled for. That was uncalled for.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, don't say that to him.
He learned it so he could. When you score a touchdown on somebody, you can't talk shit to the person you scored on. Or when you make a play on somebody, you can't talk shit to that player, or it's a penalty.
Taunting.
So it's taunting. So what he learned is. So you're my son, 44. So after he scored a touchdown, this guy turned around, does that. The referees don't know ASL, so they're like,
Yeah.
But-
This is unfair.
it is going to be unfair.
if you're listening,
It's like
don't worry. I was
if
saying
you're
something.
listening,
You heard nothing.
if you're watching and you're the 3 people who watch this podcast that know ASL, sorry. But like, I think it's kind of a dope move. And here's the thing. You can't, if you don't throw a penalty right there, you can't flag him next week for it when someone reviews the play and goes, hey, he was telling that guy his panties
So
smell like
how long
chocolate.
does it take for the NCAA to catch up and say, hey, cut the sign language, friend?
Cut the sign language. But then you're like, no, I was just doing the Macarena when you're.
No, they'll have an ASL expert down there on the sideline.
sideline?
The lady that does the Eminem lyrics. 'cause
You know how
she's
they
the
bring-
best.
She's the fastest, yeah.
Do you know how they bring in the officials for like the replay reviews?
Yeah. You got to bring in some ASL person in there.
They just brought in like, let's go down to Gene.
He said, do what to his mother?
Yeah.
She's reading it on here. She's like, well, what he said was, he said, rock his mom's, and like,
They have to put black bars over her hands.
over her hands. They have to censor her hands. Oh, here comes
That
Nick.
would be
But what
awesome.
we are going to talk about is on Thanksgiving Day, what will go down as the best Thanksgiving celebration of all goddamn time. The Dallas Cowboys score a touchdown. It's just the best Thanksgiving end zone celebration of all time. You would shut your mouth over there when you're talking to me. You shut your mouth in your sign language
I'm
to
mouth
me.
breathing.
Shut your hands when you're talking to me. And they jump into the donation bucket in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
And out comes turkey legs wrapped in foil, still warm in the air. And then the players all celebrating it. They're eating turkey legs. How is that not the best Thanksgiving end zone celebration of all time?
What's normally in there? Like football?
It's a top 4 selection. I don't know.
What,
if
don't
it's
you
that
in there,
bad.
Zeke?
We don't know about no top 4s here, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched last week. Real pros.
But look, have you ever seen someone physically eating food for an end zone celebration? T.O. threw popcorn in
T.O.
his mouth.
popcorn, yeah.
That's by himself. This was a group event. They all got the legs, baby.
Who was the one that took got the cell phone out the goalpost?
Yep, that was
yeah.
Ochocinco, I think. But yeah, that's when him and Ochocinco had their back and forth.
Yeah.
But Terrell Owens did do the popcorn. It wasn't on Thanksgiving Day, though.
So here's the question, though. From the quote of the week last week, do any of them have the type of teeth where they could have eaten the turkey leg through the face mask?
Through the foil. And the foil. Just it goes in, it comes out with a leg.
They
like
call it a Swanson. It's a turkey wrapped. I mean, it's a bacon wrapped turkey leg.
that sounds delicious, though, doesn't it? Hard to eat with your hands.
What did you do for your Thanksgiving there, Travis?
So I am on holidays. My siblings and I are moving around a lot because my parents are divorced. So we're having to go to like lunch. But on Thanksgiving this year, I did a brunch, a lunch, and a dinner, and still watched, gambled on, lost a lot of football during that entire time. I ate a lot. I said at like 12:30 p.m. that I don't remember the last time that I had eaten 2 full meals prior to noon. Like prior.
Before.
yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, obviously I'm not, a big guy. I don't have a lot of space to put this food, but I like used up every inch of it. And I went home with so many leftovers.
How hard did you have to fight the nap, or did that come into play?
The nap?
Yeah.
No, it didn't come into play. I slept till like noon the next day.
From 6 p.m. to noon.
I did my napping at night.
I remember specifically setting an alarm for like 11:50 a.m., which says more about me than Thanksgiving, I think. But
Look, I slept 11 hours Thursday and Friday as well. I was exhausted. I just I'm just going to I have to work Friday. I set an alarm for 1 in case that was the time that I didn't wake up. And thankfully I woke up before it went off, so I'd have to feel like a degenerate rushing to get to work. But like, that post-Thanksgiving sleep, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
yeah,
Unassisted, you got the natural 5-HTP in you.
Unassisted, I love it.
it hits. But you're in a tough spot because the Cowboys are almost always. I mean, I know they play. Aren't they always the
It's
4?
always the mid game, always. So my
tough spot.
My family, I didn't get to go see my family this year because of all the ducks I had to cook. But we know. Okay, we're gonna try to eat at 3:30. That way, Clint can get done and not be at the table like, come on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I like that story.
How many family members are we talking? Dozen?
About 30.
Whoa!
And that's when you go to Vidalia.
When I go to
And I
Vidalia,
can tell you didn't
that
go
one.
because you're pretty non-Southern at this point.
Yeah, you're
We'll
welcome.
see what happens when the Karen gets.
So I had to go. So mine's Savannah, Pooler, Springfield. So you sort of get the whole.
Kind of. You're on a row.
Okay, so this is always interesting to me. Different families, how they do it. Deviled eggs. We talked about this on the first time. Are there deviled eggs at your Thanksgivings?
I ran into something this year that I haven't run into yet, and
Okay.
it was 2 separate tables. First off, the silverware or the plasticware and the paper plates were at the wrong end of the line, which is, and I love my sister. She was hosting.
Plates at one end.
Terrible
silver at the other
mistake.
end.
Terrible mistake. It's elementary
Plate at
school
one end.
stuff.
Silver at the other end.
Square peg,
or
round
all
hole.
the same end, but it's not plates.
I ran into a situation this year where we had multiple dishes, and they're different like shapes of dishes. You can tell different people brought them. But at the macaroni and cheese spot, there's 2 different macaronis. Now I got my sister-in-law's mom in front of me, my sister behind me, my aunt there. Like I don't know which of these women. Not the only women brought food.
Yeah, you know that one of them was
but,
responsible for one of those dishes.
Exactly, and I'm sort of like, is this the right one?
You
And
get the
looking
measure.
back to see,
You
like,
get. You watch
like,
somebody's
this
face.
one?
You get the measuring tape out, kind of equal
And it wasn't like
sized
your
on
it
square.
wasn't like your deviled eggs where like they're different.
Same maker, different.
I
Same
still
origin.
don't taste the difference. We had 2 different kinds of deviled eggs, and I got one of each from one of each plate. And as I'm sitting down to eat,
I can
like,
feel the stress in your voice right now. Like
3 different times, I was asked like, "Oh, how do you like this? Like the butter beans, or this or that, or the mashed
Are
potatoes?"
you scanning the table, seeing who's looking at you as you take a bite of certain?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
why are you the judge of all that's Thanksgiving flavored?
because I picked the wrong seat. That's why.
You should have head of the table by accident.
I did.
You should have took a bite of macaroni and went,
It wasn't by accident though. It was a statement move. I was setting the tone.
I'm the patriarch
I was
now.
setting the tone early. But yeah, we have a
Did you hear about me on that podcast?
Coach speak. I'm setting the table early.
we have a lot of kids running around too, which I get like
Frustrated?
it's a lot. Like when you're single and
It's a
not
lot
used to
of
having like
leftover sandwich.
anyone really around you, it's a lot to have like kids running around
That's a big
everywhere.
injection of
The thing is,
kid
and no
energy.
matter what, people turn the temperature of the house for how it feels at 9 a.m., right? That's the temperature set. And they're like, we're not going to change the temperature all day. And like, ovens open and close, ovens open and close. And the house gets hotter and hotter, which is why last year I wore shorts and a polo. She was like, you're going to be cold. And I was like, watch this. Like, oh, no, who's cold now?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's a
we
bunch
had a
of
couple
bodies
of
in the
that.
house.
And, and we've said this before, being from Tybee, you can get away with flip-flops at places you shouldn't have them on. So, oh, it's fine. He's from the beach.
So luckily, I've never had to feel that, or not in the past
So did
10
you get?
years.
I got to ask,
Yeah.
which macaroni and cheese was better, your sister's or your sister-in-law's?
No comment. I'm not gonna do that.
Stay away from that.
Both
This
good.
guy knows.
Both good.
I haven't had to experience the dynamic of because I've been going to Huckapoo's for the last many Thanksgivings, and there's 900 dishes out there, so no one's going to pinpoint whether you're eating their particular stuff. So I don't have to worry about not liking something, and then the person next to me going, "Oh, I worked really hard on
So
that."
is
all
it just
day."
like employees? Of
No, anyone can come.
and
Anyway,
is food
it's
being
potluck.
like sold?
No,
No, not until
we
6 o'clock.
we give it all away for free.
What?
We fry probably 30 turkeys all said and done.
and you're supposed to make 2 dishes, and one goes to the homeless shelter.
Yeah, you bring 2 dishes and one for us to eat, and then one goes to the homeless
That's
shelter
awesome.
the next morning. Yeah,
So
And you do the duck thing.
I don't bring
do
ducks
anything.
on That's ridiculous.
I don't do anything
That's
to help
expensive.
the homeless or
I
the.
mean, neither.
These weren't free ducks. Anyways, I had 2 people come up to me after the food and be clear, like, "Hey, did you try this dish?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "I warmed it up for you." I'm like, "All right."
Oh no!
So I have to sit here and have a face to face.
Oh, no.
Then now one of them was thankfully my buddy Tyler, so it wasn't his dish he had made.
Yeah.
So he was like, "What do you think?" I was like, "It's good." I was like, "Better, really good when it's fresh though." Then you can. That's your way of being like, "Hey,
Oh, that's your out.
Wow.
That's coach
And
speak.
then another
Pro
was
move.
somebody else's food, which was good. So and then there was one thing I had on my plate, and shout out to Ken. Ken goes, "Is that good?" I'm like, "I don't know what it is." It's like red rice. It looked like it had like shredded chicken or crab in it. And I was like, "And sorry if somebody made this listening, but I don't care. Finish cooking the rice next time." Because I sat down.
Break a tooth?
That was the first thing I took a bite of. I went right in the napkin, stood up, went and found Ken and go, "Don't eat that stuff. That's not cooked all the way."
Oh, my God.
It was supposed to be. I'm like, "Don't know. Didn't get that far. It's uncooked rice."
You were
That's
willing
over.
enough to let the rest of the plate go cold just to
Just
make
to go
sure.
I was like, I must
make
stop
sure that
anybody
Ken
else.
knew.
The one person that asked me about that must be stopped. But there was a lot of food there. So you said you all the plates and plates of extra food?
Yeah, I didn't eat any of
Zero.
it. Didn't eat any of it. And I say that almost every time. Like, I hate taking to-go food because I feel like responsible for eating it. But I freed myself of that this year. I said, I'm a grown man. I can eat and not eat what I want. And so I didn't.
Congratulations, you've made it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
See, I didn't get any leftovers.
I didn't. I meant to.
We left with the pizza. Probably got a pizza. at the
I
end of the
meant to
night.
do it, but I didn't take any, and I regretted it because in years past I've always taken something. I haven't eaten it that night. I get real drunk, and then when I wake up the next day, I'm like, "Oh God, I have an entire feast
It's on.
to start with." Right.
And you're off on
minute
Fridays,
one.
so you're going to eat that and go right.
man.
Get your Thanksgiving nap then.
Put on a show I won't finish. Just fall
Hell
right
yeah.
back to
Anything.
sleep.
So I got 0 leftovers. We had a pizza. I smoked a turkey breast, and Poe made smoked turkey breast fried rice with it, and it was fantastic. I took some to work
y'all
on
do it right.
Friday. It was well loved, and it was a nice. So I ate a lot of that, but that's about all I got. And then Charlotte made macaroni and cheese for me on Saturday. Thank you. I'll forgive most of your deviled eggs penance there. I'll be doing
Who's
this for you
Charlotte?
then. The sister.
Oh, okay.
His
Hey,
own
Charlotte.
sister tried him on the mayonnaise.
But here's actually, you know what? Full forgiveness because I didn't get any leftovers from Vidalia. She's like, "Oh, I should have made you a plate. I'm sorry." She brought me the last little bit of their leftovers. So there's a corner of peas, a corner of greens. There's just a little 2 bites of cream corn next. It's kind of stuck under the greens. The greens saved for me.
And a dollop
But
of
what there
Dukes.
is the thing I
Yeah.
needed the most. It's our family's gravy, baby. And that you've had this gravy pack, and mom's gravy. It's
all gravy.
It is top of the line, thick gravy. I get it, and it's holding the dressing and some of the rice left over together, and it's it's a big square. And that part of the tray that I scraped up was actually completely clean. It's I got every bit out of there, and then we reheat it up. It reconstitutes and melts back. Oh
yeah.
Oh, and then I just plop the greens.
I
on
like a
top.
good brick of gravy because
Yeah.
the collagen releases once you warm it back up.
Oh, and
It's,
it was
Not a gravy guy.
not a great. Wow, hot.
No,
take.
it's been hot grits, not hot
grits,
gravy. I guess
take. God, not a gravy guy.
I'm a plain cheese man. Plain cheese pizza.
you haven't had the right kind of gravy.
No. See, I don't like that.
I know, but it's okay. You
He
have
grew
to.
up in the South. He's
No,
probably
I've never
many-
had your mom's gravy, but I've had a lot of different types of gravy. Because it's just like pepperoni pizza. You will just eat it dozens of times in your life, whether you like it or not. It's just gonna come
It's
on.
I'm going to
inoffensive.
waterboard you with gravy. I'm going to actually, you'd be fine.
It's inoffensive. Yeah.
It won't go through the shirt real well. You know, also is very, very offensive.
I don't know, but I do.
Oh shit! It's the carrot.
I froze.
It's the carrot of the week. Oh shit!
And everyone's favorite segment. It's the Karen of the Week special edition. Oh,
I
God.
want to get it just like this woman's hair was. Okay, let's say
The front butt
we're
cut.
going back to this gimmick for a minute. About 5 years ago, far along the way, I worked at a restaurant on River Street.
God.
Because there's a girl I work with who's insane. Let me tell you how insane she is.
You're doing this?
Just
How insane
listen,
is she?
bruh. Okay?
Shit, yeah, we're doing this.
I didn't tell you about it for a goddamn reason, okay? Don't make me come over there and talk to your manager. I'll do it right now. I'll speak to the manager. Kelly, you better handle this motherfucker right here. God damn. So let's say we're clearing off a table on, let's say, last Friday night. And we have tables outside and inside. Now, when it's dark outside, you can see inside, but it's hard to see outside. But there's just enough light that I'm clearing a table, and so is the guy in the section next to me, and I go, hey, look, this girl has stacked up plates, the table's empty, and she is eating chips off of the plates. Now, she's on a very busy street, but she goes, oh, I don't want to get seen. Takes a handful of chips, puts them in her pocket.
And this is an
Employee of the establishment. Maybe today. I'm not sure about today.
What kind of chips?
The ones that if you walked to the kitchen and said, can I have some of these chips for free? They would have given to her.
I know
were
those chips.
They were free chips. It's like, if you're that hungry with saltines, you can ask for a lot of food.
There's a
French fries.
difference because kettle chips can sit out a little bit and they don't go as bad as like a
Whatever
Ruffle.
chips these are,
Or Funyuns?
they would have given them to you for free.
Thank you.
If she had asked, they'll give her the damn chips.
Gotcha.
And there's also there's saltines. There's not a shortage of food that will give you French fries.
Yeah, what's
Things-
that place in the restaurant where they have all of that?
The kitchen, I
The
think.
kitchen, yeah. Yeah.
And you know what they don't do before they give you the chips? Have strangers cough on them. And anybody that walks by.
Or try and feed it to their kid and it goes in his gnarly little fucking mouth and then they put it back on the table.
I mean,
Get
and
your
here's
own
the-
pocket chips.
And
Go find your own.
yeah, pocket jerky
kick your
reasonable. Pocket chips not so reasonable. And anyone could see you. That's another problem. Like anybody walking by can be like, ugh.
But this person had no idea looking in that you guys were there
Both
to
looking
witness.
out, and we were like, ooh.
it's so
and she's
gross.
been a Karen in many other circumstances. I'm sure pre to working there and while working there, she's got Karen tendencies, as you will, because she is bananas. Anyone I mentioned that she works with me, they're like, "Oh, how long is that going to last?" I'm like, "Damn!" Like her work history, her resume, fully filled out, is quite long, turning a few pages, if you will. A lot of short employments there.
That's like I had a girl.
Was it a
come-
tip job? Nope, it was just every 2 weeks.
I've had a girl come up to me. She goes, "Yeah, I started dating so and so like a month ago," and I'm like, "Ah." And she goes, "You're like the 8th person that's done that." I'm like, "Well, maybe."
Maybe it's a sign. I mean, if everybody's
me.
doing the same thing, like, hey, wait, why does everybody have the same goddamn reaction?
Listen,
I
women.
like your reaction is like, what are you doing here? I was like, I'll say that for the Patreon, buddy.
Finish, Clem. My bad. I didn't want to.
no, I'm good.
I
I'm
want to
good.
know. You're,
So,
you're a guest.
the idea of women like scouting report for boyfriends came up in my head when you were talking about like, ew. So obviously that girl has her scouting report already, whether she wants to acknowledge it or not. Like 8 people saying that.
Some coaches don't listen.
Have you guys been made aware of a Facebook group, a private Facebook group of women who post pictures, names of guys on there to get ex-girlfriends or to get any girl in that group's opinion of this guy? Like, who does anyone know him? Is anyone else dating this guy?
Yes, I think I've heard about this. They're like, because guys are getting busted cheating on their girlfriends. They're like, hey, just so y'all know, I'm sleeping with this guy, and I know he's got a girlfriend. I don't know who she is, but here's the guy.
Okay, so I've heard of an app,
This is like a legitimate
but this is a Facebook group.
Yeah, and enough.
I mean, smart.
Yeah.
Do it.
I guess, but like, you want to talk about something that like guys, there would never be a guy's Facebook group for that.
No.
The other way around.
It's a
ever.
text message thread.
And no guy would ever post their girl or potential girl to get other guys' feedback on them because that's
all you're going to get.
Oh my god.
She's the one going to get feedback. She's going to get feed dick is what she's going to be getting.
Also, like there
What a
are
nightmare.
people I know in this group who are 40, 50 plus years old, married, kids, like not in the market at all. They're
Eating
just-
chips inside and outside of the tables.
Yeah, in
Pocket
and out of
chips.
their pockets, just like cargo pants, chips everywhere. But
name, pocket
that's
Pocket chips.
psychotic to me to be like scouting a report on a guy.
Listen, man, I got to disagree with you there
Fair.
because in the age of information, we use our information age in the wrong way most times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's say, now not every girl in there's going to be like nice girl or whatever, but say you are a nice girl and you need some feedback because I'm one of them. There's a lot of dirtbags out there.
Yeah, but that's sort of the whole job or like process is to like, I've waded through whatever the girl equivalent of dirtbag is. Like you got to go, like that's it.
You got to like deal with, you got
That's
to
part
experience
of it, right?
Yeah.
Or like,
No,
and what's so bad about like dating someone and then finding out like that you don't like them or they don't like
here's
you
the
or
thing.
that he's dating someone else? Like,
if I'm going to get the opinion of a person of the opposite sex, depending on if guy or girl, if my friend's like, hey, I'm going to start dating this guy, what do you think? Or if my friend goes, you start dating this girl, what do you think? She's asking a girl and a guy that, and they know them the same exact amount of way, you're going to get two different answers.
for sure.
The girl will bring a lot more venom to a situation that wasn't directly involving her versus a guy. Like if it's a guy, he knows this girl cheated on his buddy. He's like, well, cheated on my buddy.
She's
but
going
other than that, she
to
was
give
pretty
you a
good chick.
rundown of what's wrong with him.
But if it's the other way around, and it's a girl and he cheated, he is a dirtbag. Not only did he cheat on her, but he also beat her, and she's going to throw more fuel on the fire.
But see, men are less susceptible to the emotional hurt that things like not knowing things like that will bring.
Men, not all boys, but
But
men.
can I ask you guys a situation for some advice here? What if I'm sent a screenshot
of you on
of
there?
Not me. If it was me on there, I would be like kind of flattered. Because I would be like,
What's my credit score?
Whoa.
You
there-
gonna comment in there?
I was like, there is a woman that might want to see me again, like a second time.
For the
Like it's possible.
fingers crossed, baby.
So, like, I guess I would be a little flattered, but if you're sent a screenshot of someone you know really well, really, really well, and like, would you want to be told that you're being posted in that? Like, do I tell him that he's?
Oh,
Being,
yeah.
Because he can't do anything about it.
I don't wanna
He
know.
can't
Okay,
see it.
It depends on who the guy is.
I can't give him any more
I'm
info.
not telling Paxton, and I'm not telling Kelly, but I would tell you, I think.
Would you be pissed that he didn't tell you?
No, I would rather him not.
He wouldn't care to know. Because then he would just wonder about it.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, if I was in there, he would know that I would want to know.
And the thing is, like, all the women.
But I would find
that
my
he's
way in there, though.
Around, like, a lot of them are in the group. And all the while, he just doesn't know.
I bet we know.
That
I
they
think
know.
one girl right now that's in that damn group, probably.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Might be
I can
3 or
tell
4.
you that the last time
'Cause
that.
there's gonna be a lot of girls that aren't having high success in long-term relationships. There's a lot of short-term girls.
How many girls do you think are in the group? If you had to guess.
Well, like I said, there's probably more than one of these groups because they're probably localized chapters of these.
Correct, yeah.
Of these Karens
So
against
say
pimps.
the Savannah, greater Savannah area.
I bet there's 10,000 people in there.
Yeah, this group had more than 14,000 women in it.
Good God.
Maybe we
The
should.
last time I
I
asked,
hope a guy started this group though.
Yeah.
I have an inside source like of the Lady Variety who, if I wanted to, like, and she's the one that sent me the screenshot of this guy that I know.
Oh, no.
And like it just.
Did you- so-
I can't believe that that's happening.
Were you posing that question to us because did you?
You ever
I
told
have
him
not
yet?
told him.
You haven't
but
told him.
I'm like,
Okay,
Less than 72 hours from
what's,
finding
what's
out.
the context of him though? Is it like, hey, did you know this? Did anybody know this guy? Or is it like, this guy sucks?
It's
Little dick.
It's a post of it's just a basic, and you can post anonymously on there too, and it's an anonymous post. In the screenshot, I can't like scroll in the comments, but like.
Does
it's-
anyone
it's-
know this guy?
Yes, it's not.
Okay.
And it's just like a 1-sentence question.
Man, no guys
and
in that
then
group
all
have
I
big dicks,
saw
though.
was like 17 comments. You know, you can see how many comments there
Yeah.
are. In the screenshot, there's 17 comments.
You couldn't get down to the comments though because it's a screenshot.
I was about to respond and say,
man-
send me the but then I said, no.
Uh-uh.
Don't send me this again unless it's me. That's what I
Blanket
said,
statement.
unless it's me.
No one ever wants to know that shit.
I mean,
She said it wasn't the first
more of a
time it had been
curiosity.
posted in that same group.
He's a player, baby. Let's go.
Dude, that's the thing. If I was in like 3 or 4 times, I'd be like, yeah, you know. But also, like, you have to date to be in there, I guess,
Well,
right?
also,
I'm not dating anybody
is
ever.
he the
so-
type of guy that would want to know? You got to read your friend.
He's the kind of guy that would be like very, very concerned about it.
Don't tell him.
Okay,
I don't know if he's mad, sad.
Would he
like,
demand to know
curious.
your source? Or would he ask who your source was at least
Yes,
twice?
he would ask me.
No, that's not a good person.
All right,
I would
whisper his
ask more
name
than
into
that,
Clint's
but-
ear and see if Clint can hide his name and say it. Just kidding.
It's like old spot.
Just kidding.
Slaxton Sluheen.
But I did tell the girl that's in there, like, yo, just for clarity, if I'm ever in there, I want to know right away.
Oh,
like,
no.
you don't have to give me everything, but like, just tell me. I need to know that kind of
You
thing.
want the
because
cliff notes? Like, hey,
Well, here's the thing.
Just say, hey, like,
It's
send
gonna
me a
be a girl you're
screenshot
talking
like
to.
that you just sent me. Like, just send me what the screen. Just send me, because based off the day and time, like, it's not like there's multiple ladies in my life that would be asking.
Sure.
And, you know, I wish, but
Okay, here's the thing. If somebody sends you that you're in there, that means you're only talking to like a girl or two at a time max usually. So you're gonna go
If
so if you're only talking to one girl right then, you know that's her.
Think it's
And
pinpointing?
you think she's in there, but either her or one of her close friends is in that group. So then you can know that's that kind of person she is.
and immediately I would text or call that girl and say, "Hey, did you post me in this group?"
Boys,
I don't know about that part.
boys-
I would because I need to know that
boys-
whatever her answer is to that. If she says yes, I did, then I'm honestly kind of cool with it.
boys.
You know, I'm with him. If she's honest with you and says I am in there, and I just want she goes, look, I'm kind of digging you. I want to know a little bit more.
Gentlemen, ignorance
Actually, you don't
is
want anybody
bliss.
to do anything about social media. That's not, your opinion is a little less valid
Maybe
than
I should
than
stop.
Kelly's.
All right,
He
maybe I
also has a girlfriend, so
No, just not a girlfriend.
wait, you don't have
I'm
a
right
girlfriend?
here. I'm his partner.
Oh
should-
shit!
I have a partner.
We'll edit this part out.
No, we won't. I have a partner. His name's Clint.
Yes.
I don't have a partner.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
You can have Kelly. No, you can't. Just kidding.
Oh, look at us.
Roommate draft.
I can't afford
Making
him.
an upside down. You
TNT.
can't afford-
Hot grits with TNT, man. It could be dynamite.
Unrelated. How old is the girl with the chips in her shorts?
That's good.
And is she single?
Oh, she is single. She's a single mom.
Out.
Look.
All right, what's the percentage chance she has a blow and go?
Right now,
Right now,
none.
I don't like-
none. But I can't. I'm getting to a point of overdivulgence.
Okay, gotcha. That's what you
And I
never do
can't
that.
because I'm afraid she might come here and kill all of us.
Keep poking. Let's keep poking.
No. This is dangerous.
So coming
poking.
into the game, I heard this lady talking about how you were so offensive at work.
I'm into some danger now.
Shit,
Just a little bit.
this is acute danger.
See, that's why Kelly's partner. You and Kelly should be partners. Y'all like the danger.
Like a little crazy, a little mean too. Like that. I like a mean bartender.
Kelly's out there
blushing.
blushing.
Kelly just blushed.
It's like I got a pen pal like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You guys trying to set me up with Kelly right now?
No. But we're gonna road dog together.
Hell yeah. I don't know what that.
They're gonna go
I don't know.
trolling the prisons. Who's
I don't know
paroling,
what that
baby?
entails, but
They're
I'm in.
available.
Shotgun.
Hey, and it's cheap to finance a girl in prison. You don't have to buy her dinner. You send her. You split $25 on the commissary. It goes a long way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You put $25 in the books and you bring $8 in quarters because they have the vending machines in the visiting rooms. So
Oh yeah,
get her a
that's
microwave
right.
cheeseburger. I mean, if you went there, if
I started saying,
anyone's
my
ever
God,
been there,
dude.
Microwave cheeseburger. You're bringing your own Dukes.
I never took
He's like,
visits.
the
I never
Fritos
took
are
visits. I didn't want to
F8.
see anyone.
Wait, someone showed up. You were like, no.
No, I just told everyone not to come.
Oh, 'cause that's mean. Someone drives there. 'Cause I drove to see somebody in prison. When me and Terry went to go see, or me and Fro went to go see Brett, and we drove 3.5 hours to get there. And if he had been like, no, I'd been like, so this is the end of our friendship. I drove 3.5 hours, and it wasn't like I was going somewhere convenient. It was in like West Georgia,
Yeah.
and when we saw him and hung out. But like, watching that room was almost more entertaining than talking to him. I was like, it's just. The things that are going on, the various kinds of
Yes,
people,
dude.
like they were like, you couldn't wear pants or shorts. Everyone had to have pants on.
Right.
But then there's a girl with a dress on running around the room who's like 16, and I'm like, and every guy in the room is like, girl, and she's running around. She's running around the room, but like she had boobs and stuff. And I'm like, this is not okay. My legs aren't turning anybody on.
There's 40 convicts in here.
Hey,
Yes.
don't say that about your legs.
Yeah, I mean they are kind of feminine.
I've never done
I
the
shave 'em.
in-person one. I've done the jail here.
Yeah,
where I
like
visited. Yeah, and you just go into that room and you're like,
Yeah.
you're
Well, now they have
just-
JPay where you just talk, you FaceTime with them. And so, but going is a little more important. You can be in the room with them and stuff. And in case that you want to get fingered on the way out the door, you can do that too. Because
Nice.
if you get your hands near their hands, you're now getting strip searched too. They tell you that on the way in there.
Maybe we could take a podcast field trip, Hot Grits and From Behind the Barcast, and visit the Kia boys whenever they get locked up. And we'll
No,
go
they're
there.
going to be in juvenile,
Those
so not
dudes
going to go
sounded
do that.
tough. They
In
sounded
Milwaukee, I mean, who wants to go to Milwaukee?
What's that movie where there's like Dirty Mike and the boys, and they're in a car?
That's where they were having orgasms in the other guys.
He's like, we will have sex in your car.
And they were fucking in his Prius.
the other guys.
Yeah,
the
they
Prius.
found Will Ferrell's Prius somewhere. He's like, looks like Dirty Mike and the boys have been here. And then later on in the movie, they run in. He was like, wait, who are you? He's like, I'm Dirty Mike, and this is the boys. Wait, oh, you're the one with the Prius? I'm gonna find that Prius. I'm fucking in there again.
You know what though?
We will have
having
sex.
the Kia boys in Savannah. Now you grew up here, right?
Yeah, born and raised.
So way back in the day, we had something much worse called the Ricky Jivens gang.
Yes.
And their thing wasn't breaking into Kias; it was sending their new recruits to a neighborhood and shooting someone on the street.
Or the headlights thing was it? You were supposed to flash your headlights. People left their lights on.
yeah.
'Cause that was a gang thing. That you drive around without your headlights on. If someone flashed their lights at you, you had to shoot at them.
Yeah, Because Ricky Jivens was basically the Pablo Escobar of Savannah from like the late 80s to the early 90s.
It had a shoe store on Broughton Street that didn't sell any shoes. You would just go in there and get whatever in a shoebox.
And they ended up getting him on conspiracy. Never any possession.
But he got like 20 years or something, too.
He got almost life, I think, for conspiracy.
I think he's got to be. Is that parole now?
I don't know.
Well, more on that next week.
I'm not going to talk about the Ricky Jivens game, dude.
Damn, what'd they do to you?
First rule of Ricky Jivens. Well, see, when I was growing up, that was a specter over the entire city.
Yeah.
We would go to my brother's football games at Jenkins.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, hey, when you leave, go in this direction.
You just knew.
Yeah. Everyone knew because it was a
There
thing.
was like Savannah Morning News articles about it, like things you don't do.
Every week. Yeah.
Yeah, I've read. I mean, it is like fascinating to think that like something like that was so like well organized in Savannah, like well organized.
Because the police weren't. I think is how it did so well.
Yeah, and some things just don't change.
And in Savannah, it's not like other cities where you have affluent neighborhoods, and then many miles away become the poorer neighborhoods.
Yeah.
If you think of Ardsley Park here in Savannah, you have mansion, nice house, hood, mansion, nice house, hood. The poor areas are butted up right next to rich areas everywhere.
Right.
So there's tons of crossover of just residents. And when I lived on St. Simon's, there was no like real hood out there, but any lower income white boy was robbing every car on every street because everyone was rich and left their doors unlocked and shit. Like it was just crime's gonna happen if you put poor people next to rich people everywhere.
Everywhere, all over Savannah.
Savannah's crazy.
Still
like
in
that.
prison,
But
apparently.
Savannah's super crazy about it. Yeah. Oh, Jivens is.
Wait. No, one of his guys got out, but not him. He is still.
Yeah, we hadn't had gangsters like that since then, and I'm pretty bad. Now it's just the Kia boys, so we can be pretty happy about.
No,
that.
but there's still so many. I did a story over the summer for Connect about the gun violence rise since 2010, 2011, I think, and there are so many factors that people don't think about. Not to get into gun violence, but like there are things to show like the temperature affects how many.
Oh God, yeah, that's what things when we were kids. You always said the hotter it gets, the people
The worse the gun
popping off,
and
That's
like
right.
for it to be that.
Well, also guns are easier to get now. More people have guns, and then that's like the biggest thing stolen out of cars is guns. People leave their gun in their car unlocked.
That's a big issue in Savannah right now with Mayor Van Johnson's plan. I don't know if it's a plan or like proposal to like.
They're going to make it a crime for you to leave your gun in your car, right?
Correct.
Oh wow, okay.
So if you leave your gun in your car and your gun gets stolen,
If
it's a
you're
crime.
illegal gun owning, it's
You
a
still can't have it in.
And people are mad about that. They're trying to take our
leave it
guns.
in your
Yeah.
car.
They're not
yeah.
trying. They're trying to stop your guns from getting taken, which is what they're trying to do. It's not taking your guns. It's they don't want your gun taken. They want you to keep your gun.
Yeah, well-
you keep your gun.
But it's interesting to think, like, but that is like a
see,
little bit
like-
of your privicy gone. There's like a tiny little
That's
baby
that's an
bit.
invasion.
But you've put a
But
gun
is
on
it for the
kid's counter.
public safety good?
Public
Like,
safety. That's what it is. Because the people stealing the guns are not, they're not collectors.
Because anytime you hear about guns and cars together, it's like I got the gun in the glove box sort of thing, and so it's not
But
something.
I don't carry my gun a lot in my car because whatever. I'm not. I'm going to the same place back and forth. I don't want to
Yeah,
bring it down to my
Publix.
job. But yeah, Publix, Duck Mart,
You need it up there.
the duck farm where I bring my gun. But like if I travel with a gun, I take it with me. I don't leave it in the car.
Yeah.
If I'm going somewhere I can't go with it, then that's the case where your gun's then locked in your car. Now, there's people like me that have a lock for my gun in my car that you got to take my car apart to get the gun out of there, so it's not coming out of the car. And don't break in my car to figure this out. Okay, my Honda has no windows.
I don't have a Kia.
Yeah,
So
but that if you
I can't lock my car.
there's people that are people that are so when I got a gun, there's like
Come and get it.
he's
It's
got a
2010 Ford Focus.
It's got a crossbow in the back seat.
Well, no,
but if you're home, bring the guns out with you.
bring the gun inside. I had a
You
conversation
have 4 guns in the car.
after the Kia Boys conversation with a couple other people. I know a lot of people that leave their doors unlocked and take everything out of their car and be like, hey, instead of breaking my window, you can go into my car and see that there's nothing in there.
Yeah, oh
I
yeah.
had that happen to me in Savannah at a softball complex. I go play softball game, no big deal. I think we won that night.
They're pretty good.
I come back and my car has clearly been like, how you can tell, like your
Something's
center
amiss.
dashes.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like obvious. This thing had been like, and I couldn't find one thing that had been taken. And I sat there in the parking lot for a minute thinking, man, I got to address my life. Like this guy went through my car and found nothing of worth. He found nothing.
The only thing you have of value is you.
Yeah, and he like nothing. He didn't even want, not a cap, I had some
Now,
change in the center console.
The thing is,
nothing.
What he wanted was a gun because one of our listeners, Edo, his truck got broken into. They broke into his truck. They didn't steal. Everything's open. There's cash.
Yeah.
Still there. But they just wanted a gun.
That's what I called I didn't know what I was supposed to do. Like I didn't know if I was supposed to.
You don't call 911.
So I didn't call a car. I called the guy that's like the head of the softball complex or whatever, like that works for the city.
Like you got cameras out here or anything?
Well, I was just like, hey, is this like something that has someone else?
Yeah.
Has this happened? And he was like, yeah, they're out there looking for guns. And I wanted to be like, well, were you guys gonna like send an email out to the league?
Yeah, something I could have known yesterday.
I play on a softball team with
I
guys that
usually have 4
guns.
shotguns in my trunk.
Yeah, but he was just like, yeah, that's what they've been doing lately. Like, all right, well,
let us know what you got coming up in the world of journalism. Do you have anything you want to?
A lot. Well, I like a
We
lot.
don't
of,
have to discuss it, but I want you to plug it. You know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. ConnectSavannah.com. A lot of what like I've written lately is not sports. I covered the election with Van Johnson and Keisha Gibson Carter, and was like going through like campaign disclosure statements and stuff like that.
Oh, that's fun.
I was at his event. It was the first time I'd covered anything like that. I was at his campaign event as he's watching the results come in.
That's kind of cool.
wow.
It really was a cool experience. Like I've written on Deadline before, like, you know, you don't know what time a game's going to end.
Right.
And then ideally it gets over quick. So just like the election, you hope the results are like, you almost hope they're lopsided so
There's
you
a
can
similarity. Yeah.
start writing the.
Well, what's the turnover time they give you from, say, end of game or end of election to
So like
report?
when I was at the newspaper, it would have been different because you have a print deadline. You have an entire, like workroom of people with the printing press waiting, and not to mention like carriers, deliverers. Like so, the deadline time is the deadline time for that. But for this, it's just me and the editor, Erica at Connect Savannah. She's at the office or at her house working remotely. She was actually at Keisha Gibson Carter's rally that night.
So you got the winner. She got the loser.
Right, but she got kicked out. Keisha Gibson Carter did not talk to her at the event. So
Well, it's a good thing she didn't win then. Huh?
her story's done, and then now my story, like she can't get off work and do whatever until
you've sent your story.
right, and then she reads it, calls me while it's up on my and then she edits it like in front of me almost, and so that's what it is. Like there's another person responsible, like waiting on you for it. So it's not really a deadline per se, but
It's a human deadline, though, where you're like, I know this person
Right.
isn't done until I'm done.
yeah.
So you have that empathy
All
for
right,
them.
I got to ask.
And you also sort of want to be the first one to have
Balloon drop?
for when
Was
you
there
mean
a
balloon drop?
When they win. Was there a balloon drop?
No, there wasn't. There wasn't.
Fireworks?
He put on a jersey, number 67, 67th mayor, I guess like a Savannah State jersey, and it just said Mayor Johnson on the back. He brought his
2 more
mom
years,
up.
that'd be really.
But there were some people there. I mean, Warnock was there. Raphael Warnock was there.
Oh, damn. Big boys from Atlanta.
Former
All right.
former mayors Otis Johnson and Edna Jackson were there.
Floyd
So
didn't make it?
Floyd did not make it. Is he dead?
I don't think Floyd made it. Made it.
Is he dead?
Floyd, he was 350 pounds.
Yeah.
He was. I'm just saying.
Grew up for Savannah. Our mayor was Black Job of the Hut.
My old man used to say that Hurricane Floyd that never was.
Yeah.
That it was so big because it was named after Mayor Floyd Adams,
He got a lot of
which I won't say on here, but that's just a low blow. I don't think that's a fair shot.
Oh, man.
At Floyd Adams.
Hot
Wait.
take.
I can't remember. I mean, I was young. I don't know if he was a good or a bad mayor. I knew he was a big mayor.
But so a lot of what I've been writing has been non-sports. There is high school basketball coming up. The high school football here is approaching a
All right,
historic.
so we got Calvary, Savannah High, or Calvary. Don't make me do this. Go ahead.
Calvary, Savannah Christian are in the Final Four on opposite sides of each other in Class 3A.
Can beat the championship game.
Correct.
And
BC has won 24 consecutive games and is
Basketball?
in the Final Four of Class 4A. And they're aiming for a third straight state title, which hasn't been done in Savannah sports history. In the history of GHSA Savannah sports, which they integrated in 1967. Long time. Any sport, no Savannah team has won
Oh, wow.
3 consecutive state titles.
We're
Now,
on the
I will
precipice
say
of
like, that
history.
doesn't include
Chess.
an equestrian team or
Cornhole?
like East
Cornhole. Yeah.
Cornhole, yeah, stuff like that. But like, so BC's doing its own thing, and then in Pembroke, Bryan County,
Bryan County. That's right. That's the one.
who was given, they have this thing called the Maxwell forecast, and it's an algorithm basically that takes every result from a high school team, and it over 10 years, and it weighs 10 years ago a little bit. It weighs 9 years ago a little bit more, and it weighs last week the most. If that makes sense, but it does a really good job of telling you like who's favored by how many points, not the line, but like who's favored. Before this season, they gave Bryan County a 0.0 chance to make it to the Final Four. Bryan County's in the Final Four.
Damn, get it, Bryan County.
Looks like Maxwell got it wrong.
Looks like the
They did
BCs
the
are
math
doing good.
and they said 60-something million to 1 for Bryan County to make the Final Four, which is crazy.
Can they not make hard lines for high school games? Is that illegal? Or can you bet on them?
I mean, you can't bet on anything in Georgia, I guess, legally.
Sure. Yeah. No.
No one's ever bet on anything.
I've never.
Kelly?
How wild is that, man?
I've
Yeah.
never.
Dude, you can't. But
You can't bet on anything. Can't grow legal marijuana, but we'd be good at both of those things.
It
true.
would be great.
But so this
We had a
week,
lot of practice in both.
on Friday, BC, they all play on the road.
Yeah.
But 1 week from Friday,
If BC wins, they're playing.
they'll
here at
play.
Memorial Stadium. For the
well-
state championship, right?
No, they'll play a state championship in the bins.
That's right in the bins. That's
Every
right.
state championship game is in the bins. There's the potential that
field
we
gets
would
beaten.
have
Yes.
more Savannah teams than non-Savannah teams
Oh, that's
going
wow.
through.
If it's BC, Bryan County, and then Savannah Christian and Calvary are all there, that's all four.
And the word on Savannah has always been that it's a lot like the SEC used to be with Bama. That the rest of the SEC would sort of hang on Bama's coattails, like
Yeah.
we are the SEC. But really, it was just Bama doing it. Savannah football has always been that way with BC. Like, you guys have athletes, but they're all on one team. You guys have, you don't really, it's basketball, it's not football.
Right.
And so for Savannah to be this close would be wild. If Savannah Christian and Calvary end up playing in the bins against each other.
Are those the two schools that had the fight at the basketball game?
No, well, that was Savannah Christian at Country Day with the BC students.
That whole convoluted
Man,
thing.
it's going to be wild with the bins up there.
So, we going to do a Patreon after this, or it's up to you?
Tune in to see if we do a
If we
Patreon after this.
So, Travis, thank you for
I should have
coming
brought
this
my
week.
goddamn
Thanks for
pot.
having me, boys.
You're Connect Savannah and Savannah Morning News.
No, just Connect
I'm
Savannah.
going to get my quote of the week.
Oh,
It's
dude.
really bad, so we're going to do it at the end.
I have a quote of the week, too.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Well, before we go, if you'd like to listen to the Patreon, it's patreon.com/From Behind the Barcast. All of our links will be in all the descriptions of our Spotify and our YouTube. So let's
That
close,
gets quote of the week.
close her out.
It's the quote of the week.
Part 2.
My dog can't have cheese. He's got lactose intolerance. That's why we did it after the Patreon. So you can cut it if you have to. It's funny, but it's so stupid.
Okay. Did you quote yourself?
Someone said, he goes, your dog. I was like, don't feed him any cheese. He goes, what is he, lactose intolerance? And I was like, lactose intolerance? And we grafted this terrible quote of the week together.
Yeah.
All right, so we just cut that right off. Just cut that.
Maybe Travis can save you.
No, don't save it. Please don't save it. Travis over there, you know what? I'm ruining it for us. Travis can talk about weed. You've been holding that goddamn security blanket over there for the last 15 minutes. I'm like, I'd like to hit this ball.
I've been holding my lower security blanket from spilling out liquid. So
Just cut it. It's okay.
thank you guys for listening this week. We love
Please
you.
don't. No, you can't post that
I
part.
love this place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you want to cut back in us saying goodbye though, because you can't.
I got you.
Oh, I don't care. I don't give a shit.
All right. Yeah.
And thank you guys for listening.
We appreciate
We'll see you
everything.
next week.